Evening everyone, RM Bullies here. This is the follow-on video from the last video, 12-month breeding. This is back-to-back breeding. You know, what it was mentioned in the last video, got a few messages. What's back-to-back breeding? Is that a puppy farm? Don't think I agree with that. I'm saying to set you straight and why my methods of why I did it and what goes on for me. So basically, I'm gonna explain it to you from the way I read it. You know, when my female got pregnant for the first time and it was mentioned to me, I went and researched it, got myself educated on it, along with a couple of breeders' inputs and professionals, vets and whatnot. So how it was explained to me and how I read up about it is when bitches come into heat, they produce a hormone called, let me say this properly now, otherwise I'm going to have to spell it, progesterone. Progesterone, and I'll put it up here, just in case I'm saying it wrong. So they produce a high level of this when they're in heat, anything right up high is between 40 and 60. And when they're not in heat, it's as low as 1 and under. So you can understand the exposure that they're done to this. So they're exposed to this hormone every heat that they come into. The more seasons they have, the more prone they are to health risks. So with that being said, and my female was pregnant at the time, and of her age, because she's had phantoms leading up to it, before we actually catching her, there's a possibility, but there was a lot of other factors to put into that, as in, you know, how she coped and stuff. But we're going to touch up on these subjects in a second. So, yeah, long time exposure to this hormone that is naturally produced causes health risks. Not just what I'm about to touch upon. I'm going to touch upon the one that I know about more, and I hear about it more often than the others. You look online, you see loads of others. There's a list. They're hard to say. All I'll be saying them, alright. But yeah, you look them up. There's other health risks. The one I'm going to be looking at is pyometra. I'm going to spell it anyway. Spell it up here. Basically, it's a mucus or discharge that builds up in the uterus every season, and if the bitch doesn't whelp or have C-section, there's no drainage of that mucus base. Every time she has a next season, it will happen. And that's how it's explained to me. So, mad ways when you're having a litter, it's flushing on mucus out, which is really good for the dog. Signs of this is obviously a dog being unwell and whatnot, but quite obvious is green mucus coming out from the dog's vagina. So yeah, she was at high risk from this happening because she'd had phantoms and that too. So basically, I read into it. It all depends on how your dog copes within that litter it's just had as well, to be fair. Now, little things that you need to touch on. Was the litter healthy? Did they have any hernias, cleft lips? Did any die? Was they weak? Was they thriving? Was they small, big? No, mine was pretty even sized, healthy puppies. No cleft lip, no hernias. Really healthy puppy. There were 6 of them, and she coped really well with them. So other things to touch upon: did she dry up? Did she produce milk well? Was she a good mum to them? And she was all of the above. She was a wicked mum. She protected them, like mums do. If a stranger come in, she's quite fine with the other dogs to be around them, us as a family to be around them. Looked after them, cleaned them up. There wasn't messy pups. Only when they started whelping as was weaning off the mum did you really see the mess that they caused, because she was over it, first little spot on. It didn't change her as a dog. If anything, it made her thrive a little bit more. She loved being a mum. Personality still great in her. She was a good dog. It all depends on the mum, really. How does she feed the puppies? Did it drain her to the point where she didn't want to be a mum no more? My girl didn't. She thrived off it. She ate really well. Yeah, she gave her all to her pups, but she ate really well to give her all to them pups. They had the great um, feeds off her. They was big. They was gaining weight, little chunks, 6 of them. Never lost any. And now I class 5 to 6 pups quite a standard breed. Not breed, litter. Sorry, quite average. So anything above that, I personally would class as a big litter. And if it was classed as a big litter, then I really wouldn't have done back to back to her. You've got to give them a break. You have to give them a break. The big litter, that's a lot of pops to be looking after. But yeah, you've got to make sure the mum has healed well. She's took well to the puppies. You know, I've got her vet checked along with the puppies constantly. She healed well. There was no change in her personality. She gained weight. Her coat was lovely. She was thriving as a dog, thriving as a mum. Her uterus was, because I had to give her C-sections. Her uterus went back fine. I was having that checked regular. She's fine. The scar healed fine. You'll never know that she even had surgery to have them. She was top dog, to be fair. Yeah, and then really done really well with the pups. The pups went, she coached fine with them going as well. So then when she was coming into her season after, obviously I'd already knew about all this, so yeah, I did. It was on the cards about going back to back. Obviously what sealed the deal for me as well was going back to the vets and him saying the uterus is fine. There's no obvious feeling of the stitches, it's all dissolved. Everything was fine, didn't feel bulky on one side. Obviously, thankfully it was the same vet that done the C-section. She said she was really healthy from the inside as well. She had a section. Her boobs, nipples went back quite good as well. So yeah, that was a 10-10 for us. I think with that age mixed, sealed the deal with us, and we went back to back. And I'll just give you all the great points that she was. She was even better second time round. So yeah, it worked well for us as a little unit. But please know that I only breed my females twice. After 2 litters, they are spaded, so they're not exposed to this health risks, not just what I've mentioned, but other health risks, cancers and whatnot. Yeah, so really, it's like a little taboo subject. Like a lot of people talk about it, or some people do, and don't really know how people are going to take it, kind of thing. It's pros and cons. It's never a sealed deal with certain things, but she's done really well. But what I'm saying with that, the mucus building up with the uterus and stuff like that. Pi- Pyometra, 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 I think it's called. I'll say it again there. It can kill your dog. It can cause it to be spaded anyway. Surgery or whatnot to go in there. But yeah, it's a big killer. It is a big killer. Because you don't often notice it, but just the discharge and not being wipe it, not really know what it's doing to your dog. So yeah, it can make your dog really poorly, and that's like the most common, really. The other ones are a little nastier. Point blank is you want your dog to be around a long time. Don't take it the wrong way. Educate yourself, get into it. You learn every day. I learn every day. It's just pros and cons of things, isn't there? You got to weigh up the risks, and British Bulldog breeding, there is risks. She's had 2 good litters, 6 and then 5. Coat well. Hope this answers some taboo questions for you. Yep. So, bottom line is as well, my opinion is, if you're not going to breed your dog, get them spaded. Drop the health risks out. And personally, I just want to put it out there, I only breed my dogs twice. That's it. Regardless of what you're allowed to do, Casey, the rest of it, 2 litters is enough for me. My girl's done her work. But yeah, I've got other social media platforms, which I'll drop the pictures after. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you see this video, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. Let's educate some people. Change your opinion. Nice one, everyone.